Much love, everybody. Shabbat Shalom. My name is Jason.
I'm Jaden.
I'm Caden.
I'm Eli.
I'm Nicole.
And we are the 𝐤𝐄𝐄 and the Torah channel, and we thank you guys very much for being a part of our family, for being a part of this little ecclesia that we have, a little tiny meeting group that is literally worldwide. We're able to, based on technology, hang out with all of you guys from across this world on a fantastic, amazing day that we call the Sabbath day. And the Sabbath day is a day that is a mark of Yah's people. It is a day that if you are so choosing to keep, then you are part of the kingdom family. And this is what our Creator has given to us as a gift. He's given it to us as a day of rest. And you can look at all these 40,000 different religions that are out there, and not a single one of them has a day of rest. They have a Sunday, they have a day of the sun, the Solvictus day, where they are worshiping on the wrong day, where they're worshiping the wrong deity, and where they believe, based upon this religion, that you're once saved, you're always saved, and that you cannot lose your salvation. And we have learned from doctrines of men, of dogma, and all sorts of things, what these ways that we are supposed to be learning, the ways that we're supposed to be understanding the kingdom, and they're all wrong. Every single one of them are wrong. There is not a single religion out there that has us focus on what Scripture says. And we are the family that believes from the front of the book all the way to the very end of the book is Scriptures. From Genesis to Revelations, and also as well as the Apocrypha. Anything that does not go against the laws, statutes, and commandments of our Creator and does not add to and take away is what we consider doctrine. And rest assured that from the front of the book to the end, there is no place that says the laws are no more. There is no place that says that our Messiah, Yahushua HaMashiach, nailed the most precious things that his Father has given to humanity, which is the commandments, nailed them to the cross. We have been tricked. We have been deceived. We've been lied to. We have been completely bamboozled at the expense of our souls. And so we live in a world right now that is anti-Messiah. It's anti-Yah. It is completely anti-everything. And it is a sad world because there is no hope in a world like this. There is no hope if you are not abiding in the commandments of our Creator, if you are not abiding in the understanding that our Messiah is the King of the future, and the King of the future is going to bring the laws, statutes, and commandments that his Father has given to us and has said that we need to keep for all generations. There is no jot, there is no tittle, there's nothing out of the Torah that will be gone until heaven and earth pass away. And that is what Scriptures say. And so we are very appreciative that we are able to hang out with a little tiny group of people that have these same understandings, and have the same belief, and have the same love of our. We love our Creator with all our hearts, with all our minds, with all our soul, with everything that we have. And we are attempting to be his Kodesh people. And we are attempting to be his people based upon our ability and our actions, that we will bend our knee, that we will bring servitude to the kingdom by obeying these laws, statutes, and commandments. Before we begin, Jade, will you please bring us into let's begin with a word of prayer to begin with.
First Father, we thank you for this day, and we thank you for bringing us all together once again to bring us to your rest and to a one united family, into your word with a united heart, united minds, looking for your commands, looking for ways we can progress our faith, looking for ways we can progress our walk with you. And we ask that we do that today. We ask that your day is blessed, that is sanctified, that it is celebrated how you want to celebrate the day you have chosen, that you've called out and you said this will be the day that I will choose for my people. In Yoshua's name, amen.
Okay, Jade, let's us get into our
Shema.
Hear,
O Yisrael, Yahuwah Elohim, Yahuwah. And you shall love Yahuwah your Elohim with all your heart, with all your being, and with all your might. And these words I am commanding you today shall be in your heart. And you shall impress them upon your children, and shall speak of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, when you lie down, and when you rise up. And you shall bind them as a sign on your hand, and they shall be as frontlets between your eyes. And you shall write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates.
Okay. All right, let us begin. Ms. Nicole, let's give a shout out to our family who we truly love and truly, really, it's just It's an honor and a privilege to see all of you guys every single Shabbat, and just to hang with you guys. And so, as we are going through, we get a quick hello to everybody out there. As we are going through these laws, statutes, and commandments that our Creator has given to us, these are the guidelines for life. These are probably the greatest set of instructions that you guys will ever hear. And these are things that we can write on our hearts, with our minds, with our souls, and we can love our Creator as He loved us. You can't say that a parent doesn't have love for their kids, because parents have love for their kids as well. More than anything, as our parent, our Creator, our Father, Yahuwah, has love for us. And He designed us all in a very intricate fashion. He looked at our souls prior to ever delivering us into the womb of our mothers. He knew what we would be. He knew what we would become. He knew that if He would ever see us again in this fashion, in a fashion where we are accepted by Him. And so, Mr. Cole, let's say hi to all of our friends and family.
All right, we have Cindy LJ and Ollie.
What's up, Ollie? How you doing, little buddy? It is good to see you. If you're here and you're listening to this, much love. Big hugs from all the big brothers here. We know you're having a tough time. We know Mama's having a tough time, and we love you, brother. Hang in there. Give your mama a big hug and let her know it's all going to be okay.
And we have Jeremy and Callan.
What's up, Callan? What is up, little buddy? Same for you. Everything will be okay. Much love to you guys. Much love to Jeremy. Big hugs. Give both of you guys some big hugs. And let each other know that Yah is in full control of everything.
All right, we have Rosie Chica.
Hi, Rosie.
Candy.
Hi, Candy.
Days Rainey.
Days Rainey.
Sylvia.
Hi, Sylvia Ewerts.
We have a new name, and I think it's
Siervo.
Servo. Like servo?
Siervo.
Siervo. Like a servo on a car or a...
It's a Siervo. Siervo.
Siervo. Yeah, that's cool. Hey, what's up, brother?
We have Ruby.
Hi, Ruby.
Jeannie Not of This World.
Hi, Jeannie.
Bonecat 1.
Hi, Bonecat. What's
Irma.
up? Hi, Irma.
Chris.
What's up?
Lines. Let's see, going down the list. Tam.
Hi, Tam. Is that a new name?
No, she's been here before.
Hi, Tam.
Times. And let's see, the Grand, she joined.
Hi, Grandma.
And I did say Sylvia, right?
Yep, Miss
Okay.
Ewerts.
All right, and I think that's everybody for right now.
Hi, everybody. Thank you guys so much for joining us. That is a very amazing lineup that we have with some very special people out there. And yeah, you guys are family, man. If you guys ever make it down south, come visit us. If you guys like the dogs, come on in. We are here, and we are always have arms open for all of you. Much love. All right, now, these are these laws, statutes, and commandments that we are going over. And these, if you guys, you know, our command is to write these on our hearts, minds, and souls. So as you guys see them, as we hear about them, this is our job, is to dedicate them to our memory, dedicate them to our hearts, understand them so that we are unable to sin against our Creator. And when we fall into sin, we will know we are into sin because we are not ignorant of His ways and His wishes. And so we begin right here. Number one, commandment number one, be fruitful.
Number 2, multiply.
Replenish the earth.
Subdue it. Have dominion over the fish, fowl, and every living creature.
Man and woman should build their own families.
I think
There
we
are
missed
bearing-
5.
And every tree is for food.
All right, hit it.
Master sin.
Every clean moving thing that lives shall be food for you.
Do not eat the blood. Walk before me and be perfect.
Guard Yahuwah's covenant, laws, statutes, and commandments.
Every male should be circumcised 8 days old. Teach your children the commands and guard the way of Yahuwah.
Remember Yahuwah's name for all generations.
The Passover. Pesach. Keep the feast of unleavened bread. Festival of Matzah.
There's one Torah for the stranger and the Hebrew.
Sanctify all firstborn to Yahuwah. There are no mighty ones before Yahuwah.
You shall not make graven images.
Do not bring Yahuwah's name to naught. Keep the Shabbat.
Honor your parents.
Do not kill. Do not break wedlock.
Do not steal.
Do not make false accusations against your neighbor. Do not covet anything of your neighbor's.
Do not make an altar from rock that a tool has touched.
Do not go up to the altar by the steps. If a man steal cattle, he shall restore it 5 times.
Yahuwah's laws for criminals.
Do not lie with beasts.
No sacrifices to other Elohim.
Do not oppress the stranger, fatherless, or widow.
Do not charge your brother interest. If you borrow your neighbor's raiment, return it to him before sunset.
Do not curse the ruler of your people.
Do not eat what is torn of any beast. No false report.
Do not follow a multitude of evil.
Do not judge unrighteously against the poor.
Okay.
Hold on.
Yeah, I see that from 𝐤𐄄 on that.
Would adopting be against the Torah if you can't have kids?
I would say absolutely not. There's
No.
absolutely no commandments. And I mean, it goes even further that we are to love those who are oppressed. In fact, we're supposed to help the orphans, widows, and lepers is what we're actually supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be taking care of those who are broken. And adopting a child is probably one of the greatest things you can do is taking care of that child. And so,
A couple of places it does talk about adoption in scriptures. We know in the Nazarene it talks about at the end of the book how Joseph had adopted children and they were Yehoshua's brothers, so he became the Messiah's brothers. And we also know that David took in Jonathan's child, Mephibosheth, after his legs were broken, he took him in and let him sit at his table.
yeah. There's no greater honor than the ability to give a child some kind of a love, something in their life, or something that is not they don't have. And so, there's nothing against the Torah at all. In fact, I would say that it was probably a Kodesh thing to do, especially if you're a Torah keeper, especially if you're bringing this child out of the darkness and bringing them into a light and showing them love. So it's absolutely, I would say, my own opinion is a sainthood style of thing to be able to help the children. And we also have, a lot of other commandments when it talks about, damage to a child, right? Where, if you are one of those people that are hurting a child, it's better for you to have a millstone tossed on your head and tossed in the ocean than it is for you to hurt one of those. And so by actually saving a child and bringing them in and showing them real love and showing them the truth of the Father, I think would be an amazing thing. All right, let's continue on, gentlemen.
I think we are on 43?
I think 42.
42. All right. Do not judge righteously against the poor.
Bring back your enemy's cattle if you find you going astray.
Help the animals of your enemy. Stay away from rumors and gossipers.
Take no bribes.
Do not oppress a stranger. Love the stranger. Give your land rest in the 7th year.
Do not mention any pagan names.
Keep the feasts of Yahuwah.
Let's talk about this real quick because we're going to read a book a little bit later on today for another section, and we're going to read it as a family or whoever I guess is awake. But the book is by actually a really bad group of people, but we're going to take the good out of the book, and it's called Vain Traditions, and it is talking completely all of these things, pagan names. It's talking about one of these the holidays that are coming right up, right? What is the date today? December what? Something?
9th.
9th. So there is 15 days before we have what everybody calls Christ Mass, right? It is what everybody knows of as what they think of as the birth of our Messiah. And our Messiah wasn't born in the middle of the winter in Israel. They weren't out tending flocks in the middle of a cold Israel winter. It was more than likely around September 11th that our Messiah was born. And so you will have, and again, when I say you will have, I will put poor dear mom under the bus again. My dear mom, 70, 80 years old. I don't even know how old she is anymore. But I just talked to her yesterday, and she's telling me how ecstatic she is about putting up her Christmas lights, all this stuff. And she absolutely knows without a shadow of a doubt that we are 108 degrees against all of this. We are not... We don't celebrate Christmas. We don't celebrate birthdays. We don't celebrate Easter. We don't celebrate Thanksgiving. We celebrate the times that our Creator has given to us. And so as we are heading into the Christ Mass holiday, it is very, very hard for a lot of people to escape the Christmas thing because that's all we knew. And when you look at the history of this whole thing, when the Puritans were coming across in the days of after Christopher Columbus, they outlawed Christmas. They outlawed all of this kind of stuff. It was not allowed, and the entire thing is based upon it's all demonic. It's all satanic, and so if we're embracing ourselves into this Christ Mass holiday, if you are putting things up there, guys, the Christmas tree is nothing more but a phallus of Nimrod. That's simply what it is. It has nothing to do with the birth of our Creator. Then you put silver balls on it, you put gold balls on it, and then you put a star on top of it. That is all satanic. You're essentially replicating the same demonology that has been from the beginning of time. In the book of Jeremiah, it clearly says we are not to take trees and cut them down. And, oh yeah, I'm not even looking at the chat, guys. I'm just rambling, so keep on chatting in there. Yeah, we aren't supposed to take it. Jeremiah clearly says that these people, the pagans, take the trees out of there and they adorn them with all sorts of stuff, and they hammer and nails and keep them afloat. The entire thing is paganism. The entire thing is demonology, and it is things that if we accept things like this in our lives, if we accept, have one thing, if you put some mistletoe hanging up, the origins of absolutely all this is satanic. Guys, we're told as a people of Yah that if we love the world, that if we're part of the world, then we are not part of the kingdom. And so if we are even it's telling people Merry Christmas, that's satanic. It is not a time of our Creator. It is something that Hasatan has made. He's laughing at all of us as people get on their knees to Nimrod's phallus and they open their gifts, and the kids have no idea. And then let's talk about what all the other evil that comes with it. The entire world tricks their kids that some fat guy in a red and white suit that looks like a candy cane comes down the chimney. They have this guy as omnipresent, omnipotent. This guy, he never ages, he never dies, and he can be in everyone's place at the exact same time, right? They have replaced our Creator with this demon, and it is completely satanic. So as people of Yah, we need to be away from this stuff. We should not be involved in this. There shouldn't be a decoration in our house. There shouldn't be a light. There shouldn't be any of this stuff. It is all part of Satan's work. And the kingdom isn't going, we're not going to make the kingdom. When Messiah comes and does a second Exodus, and we're on our way to Yisrael after all of the Jews of today have been annihilated, and the real Yisrael is returned, you're gonna feel like an idiot if you think you're going to celebrate Christmas. Messiah is going to look at you. Everybody's going to look at you and go, "Whoa, what are you even talking about?" Right? And if we're unwilling to be foolish in front of our Messiah, then we need to understand we're being foolish right now if we're partaking in this Christ Mass satanic holidays. All right, what's up in the chat?
I just wanted to mention one thing because Obi said, Chris said 25th of December is supposed to be the birthday of Nimrod.
Yeah, it is.
The first search results.
It absolutely is. And guys, as we go through this, the Vain Traditions book a little bit later today and start this series on this, it clearly talks about all of the pagan, the origins of all of this stuff. And nothing comes out of it. As people of Yah, we have our times. We have the 14th of the month. We have Passover. We have Sukkot. We have the Feast of Trumpets. We have all sorts of times, appointed times, that we must follow. And if we are not following them, but we're following the world, then that makes us Hasatan's children. It makes us children of the devil, regardless of how evil that sounds or how hard that sounds. So, all right. So let's continue on to that. 50. Keep the feast of Yahuwah, which is right where we are at, right? We're supposed to keep his feast, not the feast of Hasatan.
Do not cook your goat in his mother's milk. Obey the messenger Yahuwah sends before you.
Do not bow down to other Elohim.
Serve Yahuwah. Make no covenant with other Elohim or outsiders of the land.
Do not make her use this anointing oil on a normal person. Do not make her use this perfume on a normal person.
Do not eat the fat. Do what you say you are going to do.
Return what is your neighbor's.
Obey Yahuwah's dietary laws. It's time of separation.
Obey Yahuwah's hygiene laws.
Keep the Day of Atonement. Do not uncover the nakedness of your family.
Do not take your woman's sister for wife.
Do not lie with a woman or her uncleanness. You shall not sacrifice your children to Moloch.
Do not be a sodomite.
Be Kodesh. Do not reap the corners of your field, or you shall not glean your vineyard.
Do not deal falsely or defraud your neighbor.
Do not lie or be a liar. Pay your workers for the day's wage they are due.
Do not harm the disabled.
Do not endanger your neighbor. Do not hate your brother.
Rebuke your neighbor for his sin.
Love your neighbor as yourself. Do not diverse your cattle.
Do not mingle your seed.
Do not mingle linen and wool. Do not lie with a taken woman.
Do not eat the fruit of the trees for 3 years.
Do not practice sorcery. Do not round your beard or the corners of your head.
Do not cut yourself for the dead.
Do not get tattoos. Do not prostitute your daughter.
Do not defile your temple.
Do not consult the medium. Respect your elders.
Have correct weights and measures.
Do not walk in the manners of the nations.
And there we go. That is a simple, 7 or 8 words in that. Do not walk in the manners of the nation. When we partake in the world, it does not matter what it is. If we are partaking in the world, we are walking in the manners of the nation. And that's what we are called not to do. We are called to be separated. We cannot like the world, smell like the world, and taste like the world. We are the world. And so there's no difference between us and them. That's where we need to align our lives with the Torah. These laws, statutes, and commandments that we are reading right now is what we are told to base our life upon. And these laws, statutes, and commandments that we are reading are a living, breathing thing. They are part of Yah's ways. They were created before creation. They were something that our Creator has given to us as a gift. And every single one of these laws, statutes, and commandments are simply amazing. And for us to reject them, it becomes foolishness, and it becomes dangerous in all aspects. And so this is why we're told not to walk in the manners of the nations. We need to be set apart. Okay, 95. Keep the feasts, the first fruits, Shavuot, Omer count, and Pentecost.
Keep the Feast of Trumpets, Yom Teruah. Keep the Feast of Sukkot, Shem.
And 𝐤𝐄, you shall be put to death.
You kill your animal, you must give him another. Repay injury.
Honor the Yobel, Jubilee year.
Confessions Yahuwah, and repay who you have trespassed against. The Torah of being a Nazir.
Wear zizit on the four corners of your garments.
The laws of whoever touches a corpse. Follow Yahuwah's laws of inheritance.
Law of keeping your oath to Yahuwah.
Do not add or take away from the word. Guard your soul.
Learn to fear Yahuwah.
You shall love Yahuwah with all your heart.
Bind the Torah laws upon your hand and the frontlets between your eyes.
By the Torah on your doorpost. Do not tempt Yahuwah.
Do what is right and good in the sight of Yahuwah.
Do not be afraid of your enemies. Remember Yahuwah.
Circumcise your heart.
Cleave to Yahuwah. Swear by his name.
Destroy graven images.
Do not make an idol of Yahuwah, as the pagans do to their Elohim.
Let's go back to 121 on destroy graven images. Like, let's go, and this goes to the Christmas thing, right? We bring a Christmas tree into the house. That is a graven image, right? We had something of that sort. When we have, and that's an interesting thing I was reading in the Ancient Traditions book is prior to the Catholic Church, when they have now idols of like Peter and Paul and all these other things, and they get on their knees and they pray to them. Prior to that, that was all incorporated into it. Those were all gods, ancient gods with lowercase g that were all in there prior, and it was the Roman Catholicism Church that bound all of these, and they just took an idol of Zeus and they called him Peter, right? And they said here's an idol of Dionysus, and they called him Paul, right? Or the same thing. We have all been tricked, and the Catholic. Everything that we have that is around us like that is a graven image. And you definitely do not want to have graven images. It's one of these things that our Creator has told us about. He's talked to us about over and over. The people of Yisrael fell because of their graven images. They brought up Ashtaroth poles. They brought up all of this stuff, and it's all pagan. And so these are why these laws, statutes, and commandments will keep us alive, or will also be what we are judged for doing incorrectly as well. Okay, 122. Do not make an idol of Yahuwah as the pagans do to their Elohim.
Rejoice, my Yahuwah has blessed you with. Do not do what is right in your own eyes.
Do not utter in the words of false prophets.
Do not make any baldness between your eyes for the dead. You shall not eat any abominable thing.
You shall give to a stranger clean food that dies of itself, but you shall not eat of it.
All right.
Hold on.
Whoa. All right, so Ruby says, are man-made things graven images or just things that Yah has created? Anything that man makes. Like you could go as far as saying the cross that has a picture of Messiah hanging around your neck is a graven image, right? Any of that stuff. People have pictures of Mary, and they have statues of Mary. Catholics, all of their things are graven images that they have. I think it goes without speaking that anything that you bring into that is a pinnacle of your wall that you stick on your wall is a graven image. And so anything that you idolize, is a graven image. And so it's just it is what it is. And those are hard things to hear, but Obi there says, Obi Lines, anything is potentially a graven image. And so the cross is a graven image. Anything, you walk into the Catholic Church or even in regular churches, they have all of these things up there. They're all graven images. And so that is a big deal. And we are all in contempt of that. Okay, let's continue on. I don't know where we're at.
129.
All right. Hit it, Sam.
Give tithe your increase of seed year by year.
Law is the end of the 7-year lease.
Do not borrow from the nations.
Do not harden your heart, nor shut your hand from the poor.
Guard month 1 of Yahuwah's calendar. 3 times a year, all males shall appear before Yahuwah.
You shall make judges and officers in all your gates.
Do not plant Asherah poles near the altar. There must be 2 or 3 witnesses.
Hearken unto the prophet Yahuwah has chosen.
The prophet says to Deuteronomy. Do not remove your neighbor's property line.
How to deal with a false witness among Torah keepers.
The first child, you get double portions. If your brother's cattle or clothes are lost and you find them, you must return them.
A woman shall not wear what pertains to a man, nor a man wear what pertains to a woman.
If you find a bird's nest with the mother and the babies, or eggs, take the babies with the mother. If you build a new house with a flat roof that is able to be lived on, law of divorce.
Do not take a person's millstone for a pledge.
Do not enter his house before you get your... No, if you lend to your brother, do not enter his house to get your payment. You must bring it to him, return his clothing before sunset. That was his pledge. Do not oppress a hired servant that is poor and needy.
Every man shall be put to death for his own sin.
Do not go back to the forgotten sheep in the field, leave for the stranger, fatherless, and widow. Do not muzzle your ox when he treads out grain.
If your brother dies and has no child, you shall take his wife and name the firstborn after your brother.
At the end of the 7 years, you are to read the Torah at the Feast of Sukkot.
All right, so there we go. That is the laws, statutes, and commandments. And in a nutshell, I mean, there's things here and there. Those are the ones that we found that we can do today that do not require a Levitical priesthood. They do not require anything other than we can obey what our Creator has said to us. And when the days come, whenever the second Exodus is, whenever we end up back in our homeland, then we will probably have commandments. But we need to know these because we don't want to get into these and we're simply we're, you know, like the Christians, if we've nailed them to the cross, they don't know them. And, you know, ignorance is not bliss when we're standing in the fire. We're not going to be able to say, well, we didn't know, because every single person had the opportunity to know. It doesn't matter if you have rejected it, which most people have rejected it. It matters that we are either taking this and making it a part of our life, or we are, you know, living like Hasatan. All right, so here we are. Let us read. We are now into Exodus 15, and the bottom scriptures is called Yah's Scriptures. It is a very manuscript, probably the greatest English translation out there, based upon all the other translations. One of the things that in the Vain Traditions books, it talks about how bad the King James versions of the scriptures really is, and how they truly change things. And it's a mess. It is a complete mess. And you will have the people that will say, oh, it's the unfortunately, the King James has been through the that have corrupted it, as well as most translations. And I don't think there is a translation that is perfect, but there are translations that are far better than the stuff that is out there. And so, and when you get to the nitty gritty of it, for the most part, if you are able to understand the Torah, it doesn't matter what real translation you have. It matters that your heart is in obedience to our Creator. So you can find the truth in any translation. It doesn't matter what it is, because it's the nitty gritty. It's the fine details that most people will never ever get to, because I would guess 98% of the world has never read their Bibles. That's just a guess. But even, you know, all the people that we debate on YouTube, all these so-called Christians, everybody, they do not read their Bibles. They come with the exact same Christian rhetoric. It's the exact same stuff, and that's why, you know, we don't. Boss Clan probably, or Boss, I wouldn't say Boss Clan, but I would say me. I probably do not do a real good job on YouTube anymore. It came to a point where all I was sitting there doing was trying to argue, and I would spend countless hours pasting in verses with people and trying to walk them around. And I think there may be 2 or 3 people in like 10 years that have ever said, wow, you know what? This is what it says. You're right. Everybody else doesn't care, and everybody's there just for an argument. And so it's really, really sad that the majority of the world does not care about what the Word of our Creator says. Okay. All right. You have something?
Jerry just says that it should be called the Jimmy Rigged.
Jimmy Rig, yeah.
KJV.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, King James. Yeah, King did a doozy on that bad boy. Okay, here we go. So we are in Exodus 15. Then Moshe. Okay, actually, before we do this, where are we at? Somebody recap for us.
So Moshe and the children of Israel, he has moved them all out of Egypt. He just did all their 10 plagues. They were saved from Pharaoh. They split the Red Sea. They walked across it. All of the Egyptians that are coming after them, they all got drowned in the sea. And they are now free on the other side, making their way to the Promised Land.
Okay, so here we go. That's a good, quick recap. Okay, then Moshe and the children of Israel sang the song to Yahuwah and spoke, saying, I sing to Yahuwah, for he is highly exalted. The horse and its rider he has thrown into the sea. Now, You know, this is one of these parts when Yisrael has just been saved, right? They've just been saved, and they get to the other side, and they start singing these praises. And, you know, sometimes in our lives, this can do the same stuff, right? Good things happen, something happens, and we sing these praises. Everything's great. Our Creator is on the top of our minds, hearts, and souls, and it's just great. Then bad things happen, and all of a sudden, these songs of praise that we should be singing, we're not singing. All of a sudden, we're just like, oh, we're cursed, we're being tested, oh, everything's wrong, right? This is when we absolutely need to be singing the praises of Yah more than anything, because our Creator knows our adventures. He knows our issues. He knows the problems and all of this stuff. And so Yisrael has a major problem where they are delivered, they praise, and then they go right back into this. And so let's continue on. 2. Yah is my strength and song, and he has become my deliverance. He is my El, and I praise him. Elohim of my father, and I exalt him. Yahuwah is a man of battle. Yahuwah is his name. He has cast Pharaoh's chariots and his army into the sea, and his chosen officers are drowned in the sea of reeds. The depths cover. Your right hand, O Yahuwah, in power. Your right hand, O Yahuwah, has crushed the enemy. And in the greatness of your excellence, you pulled down those who rose up against you. You sent forth your wrath. It consumed them like stubble. And with the wind of your nostrils, the waters were heaped up. The flood stood like a wall. The depths came stiff in the heart of the sea. The enemy said, I pursue. Toil. My being is satisfied on them. Lord, my hand destroys them. You blew with your wind. The sea covered them. They sank like lead in the mighty waters. All right, so now we're going to read up at the top. This is called the Targum of Exodus. It is a lot of it has kind of a Judaism kind of a hint to it. And what we do is we try to take the bones and kick the bones out while we eat the meat. And so we run into some of these bones. We will definitely discuss them. Okay, here we go. Exodus 15:1. Behold, Moshe and the sons of Yisrael, this song of praise before Yahuwah. Yahuwah and saying, they said, thanksgiving and praise we bring before Yahuwah Most High, who is glorified above the glorious and exalted above the exalted, who punishes by his word whomsoever glorifies himself before him. Therefore, when Pharaoh the wicked bare himself proudly before Yahuwah, and being uplifted in his heart, followed after the people of the sons of Yisrael, their horses and their chariots he threw and buried in the sea. Who is saying to say, thanksgiving and praise bring we before Yahuwah, who is high above the highest and glorified above the glorious, and who punishes by his word whomsoever glorifies himself before him. The horses and their riders, because they bear themselves proudly and followed after the people of the house of Yisrael, he has thrown and buried in the sea of Suf. Yahuwah is mighty and greatly to be feared over all the world. He spake in his word and became to me an Elohim of salvation. From their mother's breasts, even the children have given signs with their fingers to their fathers, and who nourished us with honey from the rock and with oil from the stone, at the time when our mothers went forth upon the face of the field to give us birth and leave us there. And he sent a messenger who washed us and enwrapped us, and now will we praise him. He is the Elohim of our fathers, and we will exalt him. The sons of Yisrael said, Yahuwah is a man making war for us from generation to generation. He makes known his power unto the people of the house of Yisrael. Yahuwah is his name. According to his name, so is his power. His name shall be blessed forever and ever. The chariot of Pharaoh and his host he has cast into the sea. The goodliest of his young men he has thrown down and drowned in the sea of Suf. Actually, it doesn't say thrown down. It says, has thrown and drowned into the sea of Suf. The deep covered them over. They went down and are buried in the depths of the sea and are as silent as a stone. Your right hand, O Yahuwah, how glorious is it in power. Your right hand, O Yahuwah, has cut off the adversaries of your people who rose against them to do them hurt. And in the plenitude of and greatness of your majesty, you have destroyed the walls of the enemies of your people. You will pour upon them your fierce anger. You will consume them as the burning fire prevails over the stubble. For by the word from before you, the waters became heaps. They stood as if bound like skins that confine flowing water, and the depths were congealed in the flood of the great sea. Pharaoh will follow after the people of the sons of Yashrael, and I will lay waste on the bank of the sea. I will set war in array against them and kill them, small and great, despoil them of much spoil, bring them back into great captivity, and divide their substance among my people who make war. And when my soul is satisfied with the blood of their slain, I will sheath my sword, having destroyed them with my right hand. Okay, these are really weird that we go from this kind of praise, this kind of glory, this kind of a song, to where there's constant doubt, constant disobedience, constant complaining. It never ends. And so, it is weird, and I find that where in our lives, when we see miracles, when we see things that happen, we can't just be like the children of Israel, that every time that we're saved, we're like, wow, that's great. We love Yah, praise Yah. And then, 2 days later, we're just complaining, this is not good, blah, 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 yada, yada. The praise needs to be in our hearts, minds, and souls forever, because our deliverer reigns. Our king is on his way. The one who created us all is strength beyond strength. And so let us not be like the children of Yisrael. Let us learn from the old school people of Yisrael and become the new Yisrael, where we are praising our Elohim through the muck and mire, through the darkness, through the deep waters. We need to keep praising him and keep blowing our horns that he is everything to us. 10, at the Yah scriptures at the bottom. You blew with your wind, the sea covered them. They sank like lead in the mighty waters. Who is like you, O Yahuwah, among the mighty ones? Who is like you, great in Kodesha? So what does the answer to that? Who is like?
There is no one. There is no one else besides Yahuwah.
Is there any life in like a tree? Is there like, if you cut down a tree, can we carve it up? Is there life in that?
It's not going to. I mean, there's life in the tree when it's those roots connected, but it's not going to save us. It's not going to talk to us. It's not going to clothe us.
Yeah, we can't. It's not going to answer us. It's not going to do any of that. But yet we have entire world. You have like Wiccan people, Wiccan and witchcraft people that they will worship the trees. That is their Mother Earth. The goddess Gaia, all that kind of stuff. That is who they worship. But there's only one Elohim who is our Elohim Most High. And so this is why we have to get in alignment with him so that we are not at the mercy of Hasatan. Okay, awesome in praises, working wonders. Talking about Yah. You stretch out your right hand. The earth swallowed them. In your kindness, you led the people whom you have redeemed. In your strength, you guided them to your Kodesh dwelling. Peoples heard. They trembled. Anguish gripped the inhabitants of Edom were troubled. The mighty men of Moab grips them. All the inhabitants of Canaan melted. Fear and dread fell on them. By the greatness of your arm, they are as silent as a stone. Until your people pass over, O Yahuwah. Until the people whom you have bought pass over. You bring them in and plant them in the mountain of your inheritance. In the place, O Yahuwah, which you have made for your own dwelling. The Mikdash, O Yahuwah, which your hands have prepared. Yahuwah reigns forever. Back up to the Targums at the top. But just verse 18 is things that, guys, our Creator reigns forever and ever. He is infinite in time. We don't understand time. We don't really understand anything. All we have is 120 years that our Creator has given us to get right with him. This is our resume. This is our job opportunity. This is what we have, a working model for the kingdom to come. Will we be servants of our Creator? Will we understand that our Creator reigns forever and ever? And will we pick that? Eternity is forever, guys. And that is something most of us just don't get. We get strapped with the trials and times of our life. 24 hours seems like a big time. A year seems like a long time. But in the end, 1,000 days is like a day to our Creator. How do we equate to that, right? We don't. We just cannot get a grasp of what time is. So it feels like forever when really it's just a breath of air and it will be over very, very soon. You have anything? Okay. Going back up to the Targums at the top. You did blow the wind from before you, O Yahuwah, and the waves of the sea covered them. They went down. and sank as lead in the proud waters. Who is like you among the exalted Elohim, O Yahuwah? Who is like you, glorious in Kodesh, fearful in praises, doing wonders and manifestations for your people, the house of Yashael? The sea spake to the earth, receive your children. But the earth spake to the sea, receive your murderers. And the sea was not willing to overwhelm them, and the earth was not willing to swallow them up. The earth was afraid to receive them, lest they should be required from her in the day of the great judgment in the world to come. Even as the blood of Hebel will be required of her. Whereupon you, O Yahuwah, did stretch forth your right hand and swearing to the earth that in the world to come they should not be required of her. And the earth opened her mouth and consumed them. You have led in your mercy the people whom you have redeemed, and given them the heritage of the mountain of your sanctuary, the place of your dwelling, of your set-apart presence. The nations will hear and be afraid. Terror upon all the pillars of the inhabitants of the Palestinian land. There will the princes of the Edomi be confounded. The strong ones of Moab will be seized with fear. Their hearts within them will melt away, even at the pillars of the inhabitants of the Canaan land. Of your mighty arm, let the terrors of death fall upon them. Let them be silent as a stone, till the time when your people, O Yahuwah, shall have passed the steams of Arnonia, till the time when your people whom you did ransom shall have crossed the dividing names in this Targums for sure. And plant them on the mountain of your sanctuary, the place which you have provided before the throne of your glory, the house of your set-apart presence, which you, O Yahuwah, have prepared, your sanctuary that with both hands you have established. Back to the bottom part of this. Anyone have any kind of...
The thing I do want to mention is the earth does get required of our blood. If we, I guess, it takes our blood on the earth, or maybe like we get buried. I don't know how that works, but somehow it is judged for having bodies.
Yeah. There's always the blood of Hebel, right? That's what they're always talking about. People being avenged of the blood of Hebel, and we're all going to have to go to judgment, right? We're all going to go to judgment, and we're all going to stand naked before our Creator. We're all going to have to deal with this, and the scary part about scriptures, which is something that I always remind my boys and my family here, is that there's no idle word that could ever be said that isn't going to be replayed on a stream somewhere up in the day happens, wherever it is at. We will have for everything that we have said that's idle. And sometimes in this house, we don't say the best jokes. We don't say things as we should. We are coming out of Babylon, and a lot of things we have progressed with us. And so when we are saying things that may just seem like a joke, it's not going to be something that we're going to be happy with when we're standing naked for our Creator, listening to it again. There's Judgment Day is going to become not right. We're going to be judged for. This is why we have 120 years to make this right. We have 120 years to get our lives in order and figure out this whole scriptures so that we're not as judged as the...
This just kind of goes back to like their praises and then not to praise after just a little bit. Obi-Line says it took the children of Israel just 40 days without Moshe to forget Yahuwah's power and start worshiping a golden calf.
Yeah, well, and that actually leads us back into Christmas, right? And all of these pagan holidays. My dear old mama, she says, well, it's not what it's what's in my heart, and it's I am worshiping our Messiah. Well, the people that were back in Israel when they almost killed Aaron because Moshe, their entire thing was that that golden calf was what Yah wanted them to do, right? That's what Aaron said. Aaron says, today's the day, tomorrow's the day of a festival to Yahuwah. Get ready. So everybody thought that was a festival to Yahuwah. They thought the golden calf, they thought what they were doing was what was right, and it wasn't right. And that's why all of these holidays, all of these kinds of things, we have to get in line. Yeah, literally, like it took 40 days for them to freak out and come back to their old Babylonian ways. Okay, 18 on Yah's scriptures at the bottom. Yahuwah reigns forever and ever. For the horses of Pharaoh went with his chariots and his horsemen into the sea, And Yahuwah brought back the waters of the sea upon them. And the children of Israel went on dry ground in the midst of the sea. And Miriam, the Nebiah, the sister of Aaron, took the timbrel in her hand, and all the women went out after her with timbrels and with dances. And Miriam answered them, "Sing to Yahuwah, for he is highly exalted. The horse and its rider he has thrown into the sea." And Moshe brought Yisrael from the Sea of Reeds, and they went out into the wilderness of Shur. And they went 3 days in the wilderness and found no water. And they came to Marah, and they were unable to drink the waters of Marah, for they were bitter. So the name of it was called Marah. And the people grumbled against Moshe, saying, "What are we to drink?" Then he cried out to Yahuwah, and Yahuwah showed him a tree. And when he threw it into the waters were made sweet. There he made a law and a right ruling for them, and there he tried them. And he said to them, "If you diligently obey the voice of Yahuwah, your Elohim, and do what is right in his eyes, and shall listen to his commands, and shall guard all his laws, I shall bring on you none of the diseases I brought on the Mitzrites, for I am Yahuwah, who heals you." So we went from dancing and happiness
3 days. 3 days all took for them.
And all of a sudden, at the end of this, right, where the entire chapter here is everybody praising and worshiping. They're out there dancing, having parties. They just know who saved them. And 3 days later, they got a little thirsty, right? And this is the part where we have to attempt to do better than our forefathers. We've seen this story. We saw how quick they were from praising and worshiping to, oh man, this really, you just want to get us killed, right? 26, I want to reread, because this is the same verse that applies to all of us here. And if there's anything out of this entire chapter that we can talk about right here, it's this. This same verse is the same verse that applies all through scriptures, all the way to the end of Revelations. Revelation 14:12 says that those who are keeping the law, statutes, and commandments of our Creator and the faith of Messiah Yahushua are those who are saved. The same concept never ever changes. This is what it says. People, friends, family out there, if you diligently obey the voice of Yahuwah, your Elohim, and right out of the gate, guys, what does that mean? If you diligently obey the voice of Yahuwah. How do we diligently obey the voice of Yahuwah?
By his commands.
Obeying his commands, doing his will, doing what it says in his Torah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's by seeking our Creator. And if we do what is right in his eyes, right? All of us, we are supposed to do what's right in his eyes. What is not right in the eyes of our Creator?
Being disobedient, doing what his laws say not to do.
Eating the fat, drinking the blood, looking at your kids naked, Christmas, Easter, all of these things. Yeah.
Doing as the pagans do.
Doing as the pagans do, right? So do what is right in his eyes, and we shall listen to his commands and shall guard all his laws. Okay, his commandments are found where?
The first 5 books of the Bible, the Torah. We're reading it.
That's what we read this morning. Those are the commands that we are supposed to keep. And it says to guard all his laws. That's one of these over 53 times in scriptures that it tells us to guard the laws of our Creator. Now, is nailing the laws to the cross, is this guarding them?
No, that is...
If you do not know the laws, statutes, and commandments, are you guarding the laws?
No.
No, yeah, absolutely not. And so this is why this is very, very important. And he says, to finalize this thing, I shall bring on you none of the diseases I brought on the Mitzrites, for I am Yahuwah, he heals you. 27, and they came to Elim, where there were 12 fountains of water and 70 palm trees, and they camped there by the water. Okay, Mr. Cole has something before I hit the very top there.
Glenn just says the biggest issue people have to follow Yah and forsaking him so quickly is because they can't see him. So to them, he's not real.
Yeah, and that's what Yah does. If Yah wanted us to see him in a physical form, he would have come down and showed us. This quest that we have is about faith. Faith means believing in what you cannot see. But the thing is, you don't need to see, you see the sunrise. You see the moon come up. You see the wind blowing. You see the trees growing. You see the grass growing. You see everything that's been created. You look at it, and you look from the humans all the way down to animals. They're all made in the same way. Their hearts are in the same spot. Their ribs are in the same spot. They all have rib cages. They all have, I looked into the X-ray of my dog the other day, Nora. It looks just like almost like a human. You can see their spines. You can see all this stuff. we are all made in the exact same conceptual way. There isn't a creature that is like us that is totally different. We all have the same breathing oxygen, processing oxygen, have a heartbeat, we have blood. Things all have blood. We all have the same color blood, right? Nothing is different. If there were multiple creators, then everything around us would be different. Everything. You wouldn't see dogs looking like the same makeup as humans. You wouldn't see cats that look the same way. They all have the same kind of setup, the same kind of getup. Our Creator lives. He definitely lives. There's no other explanation for creation other than what our Creator has given to us. And if you are able to make a blade of grass, then simply let me know. I'd love to see somebody out there make a blade of grass or design some new kind of bird. If you guys out there have the ability to make me a new kind of bird, not using genetics, not using CRISPR, not using anything else, but you just design a bird and you make it live in your living room, let me know. Because as far as I know, that's not even possible other than what our Creator does. And
it goes back to like what Yehoshua said when Thomas was, blessed are those who believe without seeing, because you have seen and you still know.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is our Creator could come down and rule with an iron fist and everybody would know who Yahuwah is right here. But that's not the plan. The plan that our Creator has given to us is a choice system. It is a free will system. You can either choose the powers that be, or you can choose the powers that really be, which is Yahuwah. And so this is our choice, and this is our walk. Okay, heading back up to the Targums to finish this up. When the people of the house of Yashrael beheld the signs and manifestations, which the set-apart one, whose name to be praised, had done at the sea of Suf, and the power of his hand, and the children of the captives answering said one to another, Come, of majesty on the head of our Redeemer, who makes us to pass over and passes not, who changes and is not changed, who is the crown of the kingdom, the King of kings in this world, whose too is the kingdom in the world to come forever and ever. It's so fascinating that these guys will be sitting here singing this and knowing these praises, and 3 days later, right, they're complaining because they got a little thirsty.
They saw the impossible with the water, they saw the impossible getting out of Egypt, and then they believe that they won't get water. They forget what they saw.
Yeah, and we've never been promised an easy life. We have never been promised no tribulation. In fact, if we have no tribulation, then you're probably already the devil's, right? The devil hooks up those he loves. He makes them rich. He makes them do whatever. So if you're not having any issues, maybe you're not in Yah's sights. Okay, 19. For Pharaoh's horses with his chariots and horsemen went into the sea, and Yahuwah made the waters of the sea return upon them. But the sons of Yashrael walked upon the land in the midst of the sea, and there did and trees yielding food, and verdure and on the ground. And Miriam, the prophetess, the sister of Aaron, took a tambourine in her hand, and all the women came out after her, dancing with tambourines and playing on the instruments, the short-lived praises. And Miriam sang to them, Let us give thanks and praise before Yahuwah, for might and supremacy are his. Above the proud he is glorified, and above the lofty he is exalted. When the wicked Pharaoh in his pride followed after the people of the sons of Yashrael, his horses and his chariots did he cast and drown in the sea of Suf. Yashrael go forward from the sea of Suf, and they went forward of Chalutza, and they journeyed there 3 days in the desert, empty of instruction, and found no water. And they came to Merah, but could not drink the waters of Merah, because they were bitter. Therefore he called the name of it Merah. And the people murmured against Moshe, saying, What shall we drink? And he prayed before Yahuwah. And Yahuwah showed him the bitter tree Ardaphim. And he wrote upon it the great and glorious name, and cast it in the midst of the water, and the waters were rendered sweet. And there did the word of Yahuwah appoint to him the ordinance of the Shabbat, and the statute of honoring father and mother, the judgments concerning wounds and bruises, and the punishments wherewith offenders are punished. And there he tried them with the 10th trial. Okay, so that part, right, is completely different than anything we have in scriptures right there. This is very interesting. At the waters of Merah, this version of it is saying that that they appointed the ordinance of the Sabbath, the statute of honoring father and mother, judgments concerning wounds and bruises, and punishments wherewith offenders are punished. This is definitely interesting that we hear this here. Anyone have anything?
A little bit up it said, there he made a law and a right ruling for them. So
yeah, so maybe that's what the law and right ruling was.
And there's nothing wrong with that, being them doing something there, because they probably didn't have the Shabbat. It's been 400 years they've been in ways. Egyptian traditions. They probably lost a lot of their.
Yeah, right. Okay, 26. And said, if you will truly hearken to the word of Yahuwah, your Elohim, and do that which is right before him, and will listen to his precepts, and keep all his statutes, all his evil things that I laid upon the Mizrahi, I will not lay upon you. But if you will transgress against the word of the Torah, upon you they be sent. If you convert, I will remove them from you, for I am Yahuwah, your healer. So, these are these things that, if we could take something away from today's reading, all of this stuff still applies to all of us today. If we want the things that happen to the Mitzrites happen to you, then just stay Torahless, right? Stay in the devil's world. And if our Creator calls you and you have horrible things happening to you, that may be the sign, right? That we need to get back into covenant with our Creator, or get into covenant to begin with. Okay, 27. And they came to Elim, and in Elim were 12 fountains of the tribe, and 70 palm trees corresponding with the 70 elders of Yahshua. And they camped there by the waters. Okay, that is it. That does it for today's readings. Mr. Cole, do you have something going on?
I do. It doesn't have anything to do with
That's
like
good.
that.
Yeah, that's
but it
okay.
says, this is from Carla. I was told something interesting this past week, that using electricity is being like the world. What do you think about that? I'm not sure what to say about that.
I don't.
So Glenn says that's rabbinical thinking.
Yeah.
Everything we use today is worldly. Driving, elevators, radio, TV.
Well, and that, it's an interesting conversation, because we could talk sewers, right? Back in the day, they did not have a sewer at all. And part of the commandment was they had to have a little shovel. And when you had to go do a doo-doo, you would walk out with your little shovel and you would make sure you covered it up. The point was not to leave, feces in a camp, and to leave it where people step on it, and not to pollute your stuff. There's a lot of things like that, right? And so if you look at things like electricity being, out of Yah's will, I don't see that as being breaking commandments. There's nothing of breaking commandments. We have a clear-cut, set definition of commandments, things that apply to us. And Brother Glenn's probably right. That's like some kind of rabbinical thinking on that stuff. And there's always that stuff. Do not kindle fire. Electricity has to do with that, but that's probably going a little too deep on all of this stuff as well. The Jews will actually hire people, goys, the goyim, the people they hate, they think are dogs, to flip their lights on. They are commanded they cannot do. And we're not commanded to flip lights on. I'm just saying that they believe that. And when you look into the religion of Judaism, like Shabbat has like hundreds of laws, like stuff that they do. They will literally rip their toilet paper prior to it, and if they rip it on the seams before Shabbat, they will also take, if they didn't rip their toilet paper prior, they will rip it, but not on the seam of the toilet paper. That's all Judaism. That's crazy stuff. That's adding to the word. That's violating Deuteronomy 4:2 is what that's doing.
Sister Barb also added in, they put timers on their lightings.
Oh yeah, timers on their lightings. And I very, very honest with you guys. When we first got into Torah, we didn't know where to begin. We got timers for our lights. We ripped our toilet paper prior to Shabbat. We didn't know. But as you start reading scriptures, you do find out, right? You figure this stuff out, and you figure out what is rabbinical and what is not. And so part of Shabbat is to rest. That is one of the biggest pieces. If you had to what is the definition of Shabbat? It's to rest. It's not to pay people. It's not to pay them to work. It's to basically have your animals rest, your humans rest, your land rest. It is a very, very good gift. And so it's very, let's get into Judaism on any of this stuff for sure. And
like Glenn says, the point is, don't make things your God.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I just don't see anything with electricity or any of this stuff. It's technology. Technology is rolling with it, of the people or not. And I don't know. I guess that's all I got on that. All right. Anything else? All right. To our friends and family out there, we love you guys very, very, very much. Thank you guys for being part of this, for joining this discussion. We don't have all the answers to this. Probably know by now. We end up getting stuck with stuff you guys say all the time. We just don't know. But having a little quorum here, having this little ecclesia with all you really smart people out there, not just smart, but studied, astute people. Totally love having Sister Barb in here. Totally love having Brother Glenn. The Grand, when she comments on here, she's just, these are our old timer beacons. And I'm gonna say Sister Barb's our old timer beacon, but she has a lot of stuff that most people do not know. So, all right, guys, thank you guys very much. Our dogs are getting wild like always. We're going to try to contain them, but please understand there's 9 of them, and they seem to know when we're wrapping up. So, Jade, let's take us home.
Yeah, who will bless you and guard you, who will make his face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. He will lift his countenance upon you and give you peace. And they shall put my name upon the children of Israel, and I will bless them.
Yeah, so Sister Barb, I'm just saying wise. I'm not saying old.
As Jason's mom says,
Mature. All right, so they're going to go crazy. We're going to say goodbye. We love you all. Hit it, Eli.
Respect
All right. Beautiful family. We love you guys very, very much. We hope that you guys have a wonderful week. May Yahuwah bless you and keep you. May his light forever shine upon you. May his grace forever encounter our lives. May Messiah Yahushua be a part of our lives forever. And may you guys have a good week. We love you all.
All right.